Not every garden is perfect, especially mine. I got caught up with work at the worst times, and there's a particular kind of dread that comes from when you're getting back to the garden a few days after fighting wildfires that prevented me being here, and knowing before you even open the gate that something in the polytunnel has gone wrong. You know it's been hot, you know nobody's been in there watering for you, and you know that a polytunnel in July that's been sealed up with no water and in full sun doesn't stay the same temperature as the outside garden. It climbs fast, and whatever was growing in there has been managing all that stress alone. I've come back to cracked tomatoes, to baskets that are fried to a crisp past the point where water would do anything useful, to beds that looked fine until you touched the soil and realised that the top few inches were as bone dry. And every time I'd fix what I could, write off what I couldn't, and tell myself I'd sort the watering properly before the next season. This year I actually did. I want to explain what's actually happening in there when the watering stops in summer, because it's worse than most people picture. Outside might be warm, comfortable even. Inside a polytunnel on a sunny July afternoon, you can hit 40 degrees without much effort. The plastic skin holds heat differently to glass. There's no natural breeze unless you've got both ends of the tunnel fully open or have cut out windows like me, and the moisture in the soil, in the pots, in anything hanging up there leaves fast. Faster than you'd expect if you've only ever managed it day to day. 2 days without watering in these conditions isn't just 2 days of being dry, it's 2 days of heat stress running on top of water stress, and those two things together push plants into a kind of defensive shutdown that they don't simply step out of when you come back and give them a drink. The tomatoes that cracked, that was the soil drying out hard, then me coming back and watering in a panic, and the sudden uptake of water splitting the fruit that had been under stress for days. The plant survives, but the fruits that cracked or split are done. The baskets are the worst case in a tunnel. There's nothing behind a hanging basket, no soil volume, no buffer, no depth to draw from. In 40 degrees with no water coming in, they can be past saving inside a day. 2 days and they're done. 3 days and you're pulling them down. Here's what I had to be straight with myself about. The wildfire call-outs weren't the real problem. They were just the moments when the weakness in my setup became impossible to ignore. Because even in normal summers, no call-outs, no emergencies, just regular life, the polytunnel was always the job I struggled to keep up with. You water in the morning, you go and do everything else in the garden needs, and you come back in the evening and the baskets are drooping again. A pot at the far end is dry, and you've decided at 7 in the evening whether to go back in with a watering can for the second time that day. A tunnel in high summer is a serious daily commitment if you're doing it by hand. And on the days I didn't have that commitment to give it, which is most days honestly, because there's always something else that needs doing, the plants were paying the cost of that. So automation is where it's at. It's not a shortcut, but it's a fix for a structural problem that I've been managing around for far too long. Before I get into the system itself, I want to mention Danny. Danny runs the Grow Up channel. If you don't already know it, the link's in the description. Go and check it out after this, it's worth your time. Danny came out to help me with the install, and I mean actually helped, not standing around supervising, but getting stuck in, working through the layout with me, helping me figure out the board build and how we were going to mount it cleanly on an IBC. It made the whole day easier, and it's much better installation for the input. So Danny, thank you. And for everyone watching, the link's in the description, go and subscribe. The system I've gone with is the Harvst WaterMate Pro, and the reason it's this one rather than something simpler comes down to the tunnel layout and what I actually need it to do. This isn't a small greenhouse with a couple of grow bags. I've got 2 long 36-foot growing beds running the length of the tunnel. Drip pipe already laid in both. I've got the right hand side where I want overhead coverage for baskets, and the left hand side the same. 4 separate zones, all needing independent control. Most systems can't do that, or they can technically, but they do it badly. One timer for everything, no way to distinguish between what a basket needs and what a bed needs. The WaterMate Pro runs 2 zones as standard, with extra zone kits, and it goes up to 6. I'm running 4, each one completely independent, its own schedule, its own duration, and its own response to temperature. And it's a pumped system, 35 psi. That matters in a big tunnel. Low pressure gravity fed systems start dropping off the further you get from the source. The plants at the far end of the run get significantly less than the ones near the end. Consistently dumped pressure means consistent delivery across the whole length. It also has a temperature sensor that adjusts what the system does based on conditions. More water on hot days, less when it's cool and overcast. And if Wi-Fi is connected, so that when I'm on a fire call, I can see what's happening in the tunnel from my phone. Temperature, last watering, tank level. I can trigger a manual cycle if I need to. And if the tank is running low or the temperature is spiked, I get an alert. It's also run without Wi-Fi if the connection drops. It carries the program schedule regardless, which is exactly what you need from something designed to work when you can't be there. This is the bit I'm actually most pleased with, and Danny deserves credit for helping me work it out. We mounted the whole system, the control unit, the pump, the valves, all the connections onto a single piece of OSB board. Everything's screwed, clipped to the front. All the cables are routed through holes drilled in the board and hidden behind it. So from the front, what you see is clean. The components, the connections between them, no cable mess, no tangle. Just a system that looks like it was designed rather than assembled in stages over a frustrating afternoon. The board itself is mounted on the IBC, the big water tank that feeds the whole system. At the moment, it's fixed on with cable ties, which sounds a bit rough, but actually holds it solidly. The plan is to replace those with aluminium clips, basically hanging brackets that hook onto the IBC frame, which means the whole board can come off in about 10 seconds. And that matters because of the winter question. I'm not leaving this in the tunnel over winter, partly because it doesn't need to be there. The tunnel isn't being actively grown in through the colder months, but mostly because it's a piece of equipment that's worth protecting. The clip system means removal is quick. In, out, stored somewhere safe, back on the IBC when the season starts. I genuinely recommend this approach to anyone setting up something similar. Taking the time up front to mount things properly on a board rather than just clipping things to a frame makes every future interaction with the system easier. Troubleshooting, adjusting, removing for winter, all of it simpler when everything is in one place, logical and accessible. Let me walk you through how I've laid this out, because the zone logic is the part that makes the difference between a system that does one thing adequately and one that actively handles the whole tunnel. Zone 1, the right hand side overhead distribution pipe running down the right hand side of the tunnel. Sprayers are going to come off this, drip lines can drop to the floor or go up to hanging baskets, and I can have that shorter cycles but more frequent. So this zone runs differently and on a shorter period. Zone 2 is for the right main bed drip pipe. The drip line is already in. This connects straight to the distribution system. Deep watering at root level, longer, less frequent cycles because there's soil depth and volume behind it. Completely independent of Zone 1, what's in the bed doesn't need the same timing as the baskets. Zone 3, the main bed, drip pipe. Same logic as Zone 2, but the two beds are on separate zones because they don't always carry the same crops. Different things in there, different water needs, and I want the flexibility to manage them independently without one affecting the other. Zone 4, the left-hand side overhead. Mirror of Zone 1, baskets, overhead sprayers, anything along the left side that needs coverage from above. 4 zones, each one set to match what's actually going to be growing in there, not forced into a compromise because the system couldn't tell the difference. The tunnel is empty right now, no crops in, nothing planted. And I want to be upfront about that rather than cut around it. This is a fresh install. We've done the work, the system is in, but the season hasn't really started yet. I'm doing it this way deliberately. Installing it into an empty tunnel means I could lay pipe properly, run lines where they actually need to go, and set up the zones without working around established plants that are in the way. And it gives me time to dial the system in, run each zone, watch how it behaves, adjust timing before anything depends on it, rather than learning the system's quirks at the same time as I'm trying to keep a full tunnel alive. The right time to set up this is before you need it, not in the middle of a heat wave with a tunnel full of stressed plants and a hose in your hand, wondering why you didn't sort this last autumn. I'll be following this up once the beds are planted and the system's been running through real conditions, temperature, data, zone performance, how it all handles the hot days. I've lost parts of the season to this before, not through laziness and not through not caring, but because I had a system that depended entirely on me being present. And some summers I just wasn't with the wildfires. Wildfire season doesn't ask for permission. You go, you deal with it, and you come back home, and the tunnel gets through the week the best it can. What I've built here is an answer to that. 4 zones properly laid out, temperature responsive, remotely monitored, running off a board I can pull off the IBC in 30 seconds and store over winter. It's part of a wider automation program for the garden. I've spent years building rain catchment and containment in order to water such a large garden. So automating some of the watering was the obvious place to start because it's the job with the most immediate consequences when it slips. The rest will follow. The Harvst WaterMate Pro is linked below. If you're running a polytunnel or a large greenhouse and you recognise any of what I've described, the daily grind of hand watering in summer, the anxiety of being away during a heat wave, it's worth a proper look, especially the multi-zone capability. That's what makes it actually fit a real growing setup rather than a simplified version of one. And don't forget Danny from the Grow Up channel is in the description. He helped me make this happen. Go and support his channel. I'm Tony O'Neill, this is Simplified Gardening, and I'll see you in the next one.